take you apart.
Look at that. I mean, look at the drop that he just did. I mean, that looked like he was back in the Eddie Aikau. You know, which he is a winner and a champion of. One of the original big wave events and one of the biggest and best years ever. Is attacks the lip on the outside. Nice layback snap. This is by no way easy wave to surf. Look at all the moguls.
Hey, just thinking about what we've just seen. Owen Wright had an 8.17 on the first.
He is a two-time world champion and currently ranked 3rd overall. In the jersey, Florence is a fierce and determined competitor. But out of the water, John is a humble person who loves life and the ocean.
Home is probably where I'm the most comfortable, and I'm a pretty quiet person, I guess. I like that. I don't know, I like quiet things. My mom's one of my heroes. She's always going to be one of my heroes, just for raising me and my brothers from when we were really young, taking us traveling around the world. I have a lot of little weird hobbies. I like to skateboard, body surf. We have a beehive. I'm not very good at the beekeeping, but I'm trying. I get stung a lot. I like growing things in the yard. We have like tons of fruit trees and everything like that. I think that's really fun. I like to go sailing. I love sailing. As soon as you get on the boat, you're separated from kind of anything that was on land, and it just kind of puts you out there, and then it's you in the ocean and whatever the weather's doing. And then you have those times when you're like just surfing the boat down waves, and just being a surfer and being on a bigger boat, and you're like catching a wind swell with it, and the wind's pulling you into it, and you can feel the whole boat take off. I think it's a really cool thing.
John, we'll have a look at a backdoor entry here. He's deep in there, we can tell you, and there he is.
I compete because for me it's such a great platform for learning. It's a real kind of condensed area for real quick learning on how to perform under pressure and how to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
I mean, this is how he can get his board tweaked out.
I just want to better myself at surfing altogether, and I want to be a little more free in my surfing. I want to be able to go into a heat and do a backflip and just be able to do it. I want to be able to mix my competitive surfing with my free surfing more. Being able to take off at bells, per se, and pump down the line and maybe do a big down carve into like a huge air and then land and then surf the rest of the way through.
A 9.97 for a historic maneuver.
Just being able to mix it up like that so you can have those free surfing maneuvers and evolve the sport and also have that competitive surfing at the same time.
Raised on the north shore of Oahu, John Florence thrives in big conditions. And with the swell on the increase, John faces the hard-charging Australian Owen Wright.
But out there in the light-up now, another big heat about to get underway. You can see the number next to Owen's name already, an 8.17, so kicking this one off. But here is John Florence in reply. And John absolutely hammers what's on offer a couple of times now. Really critical on that last hit. Just couldn't quite get his board back under his feet. And he's up once again.
Nice layback snap. This is by no way easy wave to surf. Look at all the moguls.
You know that John's the kind of guy that won't back away from these final sections, and there's a huge hit.
John's timing is just impeccable out here. His commitment to the lip and commitment to hitting this inside is like none other.
Can probably afford to conserve some energy here at this point in time as he drives up into the lip on his way to a very healthy heat score. John Florence, what an impressive performance.
If this is any indication of it cleaning up tomorrow and getting better, what John can do, Gabriel and Italo have got their hands full.
Take you apart.
Look at that. I mean, look at the drop that he just did. I mean, that looked like he was back in the Eddie Aikau. You know, which he is a winner and a champion of. One of the original big wave events and one of the biggest and best years ever. Is attacks the lip on the outside. Nice layback snap. This is by no way easy wave to surf. Look at all the moguls.
Hey, just thinking about what we've just seen. Owen Wright had an 8.17 on the first.
Kelly Slater is undeniably the greatest of all time. But with him now out of the competition, our focus moves to the two greatest surfers of today.
A guy like Gabriel Medina, you know, you have the ability to do anything on any wave.
What John can do is hard to comprehend.
John Florence and Gabriel Medina are the driving force of today's progressive surfing movement.
Throws the corrupt flip. It's a clean landing, maybe the best we've seen.
The miracle worker. How does he do it?
Destiny has been put in place. John Florence, Gabriel Medina, world title number 2.
With 2 world titles apiece, a fierce rivalry is developed between these two titans of the sport.
Gabriel, if he gets in a dominant place in the heat, if he's on the offense, he's amazing. He's as good as anyone I've seen.
It kind of feels like he wants to be the guy that rips it out of John's hands.
Yeah, I see a lot of inspiration from Gabriel for sure. You know, he's just like, I'm doing what I'm doing and I don't care about what anyone thinks and I'm gonna win.
John really is so competitive. He sees Gabby in the quarters, you know, he wants to be in the semi. Or if he gets an 18-point total, John wants to get a 19-point total.
It's been a couple of years, me and John being fighting for the title.
He's, you know, definitely a scary competitor.
He pushed me, I pushed him. That's how we go.
This is a matchup for the ages. John Florence versus Gabriel Medina in perfect 10-foot waves at Bells Beach.
You know, John Florence, it's not an easy heat for him, but big conditions, you'd have to say that he's a favorite.
It was a tough road to these quarterfinal heats for our competitors.
Yeah, the anticipation is killing me, so I can't wait to get this one started.
Florence looking to answer here.
I do believe whoever wins this heat is going to go on to win the event. I can't see an advantage one way or the other.
Florence up at the moment, chasing the lead. Big carve there, drops back down into the bowl. And on the outside, Medina's going to get a shot as well. Big section here. And he'll hang on to the finish.
Very even in this exchange.
Well, Florence, he wants to crack the final event here. He's on his way.
Jeez.
Devastating forehand approach on the outside. And John Florence is going to get the win.
Let's give it up for John Florence.
It's really fun surfing against Gabe. He really pushes you, and you always think like he's gonna get like an 8 or a 9 on his next waves. That's what makes his heats fun, and I think that's why we're all here competing.
Competitors and current competitors were watching things unfold is that these two guys were out there surfing in the big conditions, whereas a lot of the competitors really looked like they were just surviving some of those bigger set waves. Florence up at the moment, chasing the lead. Needs a 6.17. Big carve there. Dropped back down into the bowl and up into the lip once again. Starting to build some momentum for the big finish on the inside here. Banking hard on that tail, so a lot of big turns executed already, and again with the solid finish, hanging on. Semi 2 just about to kick off. John Florence taking on Jordy Smith. The winner of this heat will take on Felipe Toledo in the final.
And another clean set wave, another good start for Jordy. This time going straight into a big maneuver.
Jordy Smith's going to pose some problems for John as well. And numbers starting to roll through for Jordy Smith's first wave, and he has a 7.17 in the account.
But a bit of interest from John Florence in this one. Watch for this, Benzie, bang!
Oh, but that turn there, massive. That was the turn of the heat so far.
Right now, he's trying to overcome this man, Jordy Smith, who's really starting to accelerate now. Moving through to the inside, gets up onto the lip, and does very well to handle a tricky section at the end of that ride. John Florence now, he needs an 8.61. On the outside, a really good size set wave. John Florence rips into a huge carve. John Florence has to get this turn right. He needs an 8.61. Well, he just bagged himself a 9.43. What a comeback from John Florence. The crowd loves it. A really good size set wave. John Florence rips into a huge carve and hangs on that rail for an eternity. Again, back up into the pocket. He's going to have a big section to work with here. Just whips one off the top. Down the line, something big's coming our way. John Florence has to get this turn right. 7 minutes to go. He needs an 8.61. Another solid finish. The crowd loves it. Anytime you see a competitor on a big wave here, attacking that end section, you're going to hear a big cheer from the crowd.
Now the final heat of this celebrated event. Felipe Toledo has never lost a WSL final and goes into this heat with 7 career wins. John Florence is a 2-time world champion and arguably the best surfer of his generation.
Felipe Toledo and John Florence fighting to win the bell. Felipe Toledo with the first wave of the final.
With that free fall drop out of the sky, stops his first turn. John about to answer back.
And that's one of the first ones he hasn't pulled off.
Toledo
trying to take advantage of John falling.
Wow, that was insane. He finds himself in a pretty strong spot.
Florence in motion. Pulls off that layback hammer off the top.
That's more like it from John.
John got himself back in the heat. He managed his time. Basically ripped it out of Felipe's hands.
And that is absolutely incredible. As it stands up, he just hooks into it.
Big lead change. Pressure on Toledo to steal the bell off Florence. Big vertical, stays on his feet. Last score for Toledo, not enough. John Florence takes the big bell at the Rip Curl Pro Bells Beach.
The greatest surfers in history have won here at Bells. Now, John Florence will be the next to have his name etched on that iconic trophy.
Let's make it a big bell victory. Your champion for the Rip Curl Pro Bells Beach, John Florence.
Surfing against Felipe out there, definitely nerve-wracking, especially 1 minute to go and he gets that wave. I was just like, oh no. I'm super stoked.